Hello everyone, this is Dr. Kishore Kumar. Today I am going to present you about eukaryotic chromosome structure. So as we are all know about the eukaryotics, in a nature there will be two organisms that are existing in a simplified classification we call prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So the prokaryotes, when compared to the eukaryotes, these are very simple organisms. And even if you see their chromosome structure, there will be a single chromosome that can existing, and their chromosome structural organization, which is very simple. But when you're going into the eukaryotic chromosomes, definitely these chromosomes are highly complex, and that can be specially placed in a specialized cell organelle that we call nucleus. So in the nucleus, these chromosomes can be present, and if in the particular nucleus, even the DNA can also be present. So for suppose in this particular session, I'm going to speak about the basic introduction as well as certain features of the chromosomes, because this we should understand the little basics, how it will work. And the third one is the composition of chromosome. Obviously this we should understand, then only we can better imagine how the chromosome, how the DNA is to be folding. And the final one is to be the structural organization. So the structural organization, which is a very important, because where exactly we will see how the properly or the orderly the DNA is to be organizing and finally placing into the a small organelle that is called nucleus. All right, these events we are going into discuss today. Now you coming into the the definition of the chromosome, as we'll say in a simple terminology, that is, these are a rod shape, and obviously this can be dark stain, because chromosomes are nothing but these are to be a highly condensed form of DNA. So obviously that can be darkly stained, and which is to be seen in a metaphase stage of the mitosis. So these are the basic things which we can say about the chromosomes, because these are the rod shaped and darkly stained. So when you come to the history, is the first person who identified these chromosomes in 1875. His name is Strasburger. Then, but he has not given the name. Then after that, in Waldeyer is a scientist. He given the name for that particular bodies, for that particular basic bodies. Basic bodies mean that can be having a basic nature. So for that, he has given the name chromosomes in 1888. So, and finally, the term which has originated, that chroma mean color, soma mean body. So any color bodies that are present in the nucleus, these particular things we call chromosomes. So the chromosome name was given by the Waldeyer, but first identified by the Strasburger. So if you see the features of the chromosome, does the chromosome, so now we are slowly going into the deep. So what it exactly present in the chromosomes, right? So before we are going into in deeper and deeper, and we should understand about the basic features of the chromosomes, where the first one, you can see the chromosomes are, these are the best visible during metaphase. Clear? During the metaphase, because exactly that is the place where they are highly condensed. So that highly condensed form we can see with the help of microscopes. You can see in a light microscope as well as electronic microscope. And second one, these chromosomes, they are having the genes which are in linear fashion. So we should remember that we are speaking about genes mean the DNA which is present in the chromosome. So on the DNA, the genes are present in the linear fashion. Clear? Then the third important point is these chromosomes, they are vary in shape, size, and number in species to species. This we should understand. So if you take the human chromosome and if you take other plant chromosomes, definitely the number will be vary and their size will be vary and their shapes are also be vary. But here I'm not going to discuss about the size, shape, and number, but I am telling you, you just remember this, because our intention is to be how the DNA is to be orderly folding and which is to be stably keeping stably present in the nucleus. That the total procedure now we are going to discuss. And one of the important other point is these are to be uh, having a self duplication that we call self replication, and also having the mutations. Obviously, when you are speaking about the genes, that is nothing but DNA. So if the DNA is present, the chromosomes are that can be self duplicate. That can be, we will going into discuss in the coming classes, that is mitosis and meiosis. And second one, there is a change. If there is a change in the genes, definitely that condition we call mutation. That can also be a typical character of this chromosome. And if you see the composition of this composition of chromosome, which is nothing but it can be composed of three major things. One is DNA, second one is RNA, third one is protein. Clear? So these are all five important features that is attributing into the chromosome, right? Then if you see the composition, so when we are going into little deeper, then how it is to be composed, as I discussed in the previous slide, this can be composed of three major things: DNA, RNA, and protein. So altogether we call chromosome is a nucleoprotein, right? So nucleoprotein, protein part is protein, nucleo mean DNA and RNA. So chromosome is nothing but a nucleoprotein where it can having DNA, RNA, and proteins. And if you see their composition, their respective composition, DNA can be 30 to 40% that can present in chromosomes, 0.5 to 10% RNA that can present, and 50 to 65% protein can be present. This is very important. The major portion of the in this chromosome is to be protein, and second one is DNA, and third one is RNA. This we should remember. So here the proteins will play the major role in order to properly fold this DNA. And if you see the DNA, obviously the DNA will have two regions, that is unique DNA and repetitive DNA, because I'm not going to detail much about this repetitive and unique DNA. I'll try to do one more video about the CART analysis, right? So unique DNA is nothing but which is in a single copy DNA, and repetitive DNA is nothing but which can be present in satellite DNAs where the sequences can be present. Clear? Then if you see the RNAs, as we know that RNA, there will be three different RNAs that can existing in eukaryotic cell. One is messenger RNA, second one is transfer RNA, third one is ribosomal RNA. So these three RNAs that all together will comprise about 0.5 to 1% of the chromosome. And if you see the protein part, the protein part will call histone proteins, these histone proteins and non-histone proteins. Histone proteins we also call it as basic protein. Non-histone proteins which are not related with the basic in nature, that are other than the basic proteins. Clear? So this is all related about the basic composition of the chromosomes. Now you should understand this is the important concept, because once if you take out the DNA that is presenting in the nucleus and you can try to stretch it at the outside of the cell, it is to be at the linear stretch, it can be on 2 meters. Remember, right? 2 meter length of the DNA that is highly packed into the nucleus, which is a very small organelle, and that can be present in the cell. So how does this can happen? So that events we are going to discuss about the structural organization. The structural organization, you just remember this. because of various kinds of the structural modifications or structural will call there is an we also call the modification which will minimize the repulsion between the groups, and finally that can be highly stable and which is to be present in the nucleus. Clear? So this is a simple diagram which shows. So here we should understand about the various levels of structural organization of DNA when we are going from top to the bottom. So suppose this is the DNA, the width of the DNA is 2 nanometers, right? And then this DNA is to be folding and forming special kind of the structure that we call beads on a string structure. This is nothing but a nucleosome. This is the first order folding organization, right? This is first order folding. So this can be, the 2 nanometer can be placed in 11 nanometers, and after this nucleosome structure will be folded back and it can form the 30 nm fiber, right? This 30 nm fiber will be converting into the loops. We can see here the loops, and these loops are still be highly folded, and finally it can make it into the rosette, and the rosette is finally a highly condensed, and that can be present, that can be formed the chromosomes, right? So students, you don't worry, because each and every event I am going to discuss about how it is to be happening. So before we are going into the, so anyway, the DNA composition and that everything we will do into the nucleic acid DNA structure and the replication part. So first, how the DNA is converting into the first order, right? The first order folding. This first order folding will call as nucleosomes, right? These nucleosomes are majorly, if you see, this can be composition composed with the histones. So basically, histone proteins are two types. One is core histones, other one is linker histones. Clear? The histones are two types, core histones and linker histones. If you see the core histones, these are H2A, H2B, H3, H4. These four comes with the core histones, and H1, H5 will comes to the linker histones. Clear? So you should remember that histone proteins, these are to be very basic proteins. Basic protein mean where if you see the protein are nothing but these can be manufactured with the R, these can be formed with the help of amino acids. So the composition of amino acid, if you observe, where the basic amino acids are rich in these histone proteins, especially two basic amino acids we call arginine and lysine. These two amino acids will be basic in nature. So that's what histone proteins are in the basic proteins. And this is to be very important to understand, because if you take the DNA is to be an acidic. We are calling acidic because acidic means that is, if you see the DNA structure where phosphate is present, the phosphate having the negative charge, and this histone proteins, which are basic protein, will carry the positive charge. So that negative and positive charge, the negative charge of DNA and positive charge of the this histone protein will together will bind and make it to be, and it try to be reduce the steric hindrance during the folding properties, right? So here one important thing I would like to tell you about H2A, that is, this can be maintained overall structure of the chromatin, right? So overall structure of the chromatin which is to be maintained by the H2A, and not only that, it is important for the regulating gene expression. So regulating gene expression means wherever the particular gene it wants to be regulated, it will go for the methylation and acetylation process. Those things I am not going to discuss here, right? So that is regarded with this H2A. And if you see this linker H1 which is binding at the initial and at the end of this nucleosome. So what exactly the nucleosome, I'll tell you in the subsequent slide. So H1 is a linker, H1 is the linker histones, one of the linker histone, where it can bind at the starting of nucleosome and end of the nucleosome, right? So that the nucleosome can be locked. Clear? And this is to be important to form further foldings. And the second one, that is HY, which is to be important for the packing of specific regions of DNA. This is not present in throughout the DNA, which can be present at specialized regions. Clear? So if you see the structure of the nucleosome, we can better understand this. So the core histones, which I told you in the previous slide, the core histones, that is H2A, H2B, H3, H4. These two molecules of these four histones will form a one octamer. All right, one octamer is nothing but where two molecules of these core histones that can be present. These octamer together will form like an core, right, to which the DNA is wrapped. Clear? So for suppose if you see, this is the core of the octamer, where exactly two molecules of histones are present, around which the DNA is wrapped, right? So in between one nucleosome, other nucleosome, there is a space between the DNA at that particular place. The linker histone can be present, because the DNA we call linker DNA, and the histones which can also be bind this particular place we call linker DNA, where exactly H1 will be present. All right. So these structures, if you see the composition of nucleosome, friends, this we should always remember. If you see the composition of nucleosome, where exactly 8 histone molecules plus 146 base pairs of DNA that is to be wrapped in the nucleosome. So we should understand about it. Nucleosome is nothing but which is the combination of DNA as well as histone proteins. The histone proteins that present are called core histone proteins. The core histone proteins will form the octamer. The two molecules of histone will form the octamer. This octamer, around the octamer, 146 base pair of DNA which is to be wrapped. So altogether the diameter of this is to be 10 nanometers. Clear? This is the first level of organization. Clear? Then if you are going into the next level, that can be, we'll call in the second, after this it can going into the second level organization. So before we discuss about the second level, that is 30 nm fiber, so you should understand here, these are the different kinds of the stones and these are the molecular weight. You can see, especially in the content of this basic amino acid like lysine and arginine. So this is to be the major portion amino acid that can be present in this histone proteins. And moreover, you should remember this, these histones are highly conserved sequences. So conserved sequences mean if you take from plants to humans, and the sequences which will be highly conserved. Clear? Then, so the second order folding we call 30 nm fiber. What do you mean by 30 nm fiber? 30 nm fiber, which is nothing but the nucleosome, which is again folded, and the multiple folding of nucleosome will finally leads to the 30 nm fiber, right? After the 30 nm fiber, the third level of chromatin organization which can be formed. Clear? So the third level of chromatin organization which can be with the help of a protein we call SMC proteins. So SMC stands for structural maintenance of chromosomes. The structural maintenance of chromosomes, these are the proteins which can be helped this DNA to further folding, right? So this is to be the highest level of folding that can be possible with the help of this SMC protein. One is best example is coasin, second one is to be an condensins, right? These coasins and condensins, they will place, they will have a different kind of role, and finally which will make to be the chromosome further, or DNA is further condensed, right? Clear? So if you see the coasin, which is to be important for the linking of the sister chromatids, and if you see the condensins, so where exactly this can bind to a DNA so that it can create a positive supercoils. But there is a controversy in this, because if the DNA it wants to be folded properly, it has to have the negative supercoils. So the proper folding of DNA, which can be possible because of the supercoiling, and second one is because of this protein aided foldings, right? The DNA which is supercoiled, the negative supercoiled DNA which is to be tightly folded, positive supercoiled DNA which is to be completely opposite of negative supercoiled, right? So this can be an what can be an controversy, but anyway, you should remember that these coesins and condensins, which will be one of the major proteins in the SMC category, and you just imagine about the final structure of this folding, right? So one thing we should understand is the DNA which is to be present, the DNA which is present and that can be folded, right? That has to be folded and finally it can placed into the nucleus. It's clear, right? The first DNA which can be folded, that form we call nucleosome form. All right, the nucleosome form which is looks like this. But suppose this is DNA, this part is DNA, right? This is to be beads on a string form. This beads on a string form we call nucleosome form, where exactly we discussed about the nucleosome composition and how much of DNA which is to be wrapped, right? Then after this, these nucleosomes are again folded. You can see here this folding. These are to be again folded and finally form the 30 nm fiber. This is second level of folding, right? First level of folding is a nucleosome model, and from where it can be moved into the second phase, that is 30 nm fiber. This is because of multiple foldings of the these nucleosomes. And the third category, this can be formed into one loop. You can see here, this can form into one loop. So here the one loop around 75,000 base pairs that can be together will form a loop-like structure, right? This one loop again which can be migrated into one rosette, right? We call one rosette. This structure you can see here, I've shown clearly in the image. This called one rosette. Clear? In the rosette, nothing but average 6 loops that can be present. Total 6 loops that can be present in the one rosette. That is the next level of folding. And it can be migrated into the one coil. So where exactly 30 rosettes can be present, right? This can be moving into the one coil. The coil is nothing but which is looks like this. This is one coil. In a one coil, 30 rosettes can be present. In each rosette, 6 loops can be present. That we should understand. And after this, this can be a last kind of the folding. This can form 2 chromatids where exactly 10 coils can be present in each chromatid, right? So each chromatid is 10 coils are present. Each coil 30 rosettes are present. In each rosette 1 loop is present. In one loop that can having a 75,000 base pairs, and which is having a 30 nm fiber, and going down which will have the nucleosome, and finally which will have the DNA. If any protein or any enzyme it wants to access the DNA, so it has to be cross all these arrangements, right? Then only the particular sequence will be exposed, and now this can be involved for the various kinds of the activities like transcription, translation, and regulation process. So all these things which can be possible because of the histone proteins, each and because these are the basic proteins that can present here, the nucleosome model, and the acetylation, deacetylation, methylation, and demethylation because of even phosphorylation. These events that can be regulate the histone proteins, and finally that can leads to the exposing of the DNA at the local point. That is not to be at the throughout the chromosome. That is only the localized part which is to be expressed, right? So these are the different kinds of the organization that can be present in the eukaryotic DNA. So finally, initially, which is 2 meters DNA, 2-meter DNA, which is folded, and finally, which is having a very minute, that is around 110 or 140 nanometers. That you should understand. This can be possible because of various kinds of the histone and non-histone proteins. Non-histone protein part, we discussed about SMC, that is structural maintenance of chromosome proteins, and finally these together will achieve this function, right? So friends, I think you should understand very well about the nucleosome model and how it is to be organized. And we will come with the next video, and take care. Bye.